What's up, guys? So I wanted to do a vlog of kind of a recap of what 2017 taught me. We're already in 2018, but I still had some finishing up to do, closing 2017 as a whole chapter. So I just want to share with you guys what God has done for me and how it's kind of all just came together. I'm seeing things come into fruition. I'm seeing things, it's just starting to click of, why things went a certain way. And I just want to share with you and encourage you guys what God can do for you too if you are vulnerable and open and intimate with Him and your relationship with Him. God has opened so many new doors for me since my Achilles, since this blessing. I'm literally only referring to it as a blessing. The only thing this is injured is my hindrances in my relationship with God. It's injured those obstacles. It's injured all the negative things that were keeping me from growing with God. It's been the biggest blessing. But over the weekend, what I learned is being obedient to God results in favor of Him. That can kind of sound weird. That can kind of sound like you're doing things for your own good, for your intentions, because you want this. Oh, if I do this for God, then I'll get this. And it doesn't work that way. That's not how it goes. And that's not how God works. What you have in mind and what God has in store for you are completely different things. Hello? It's not. It's going to be a completely different course that you couldn't even imagine yourself on. That's where I'm finding myself. God just has done so much for me this past year. 2017 I found was a year of patience and a year of trust and of learning that. He put it to the test in 2018, but 2017 was an entire year of me constantly hearing God saying, keep going, keep pressing into me, keep working. And I'm like, okay, but like, what's next? I'm one of those proactive people who I like to be prepared before the preparation, if that makes sense. So for me to not know what I'm trusting in God for, what I'm waiting for, what this season of patience was for me was so hard, because I wanted God to tell me right what exactly I was waiting for. If you know, God does not work that way. And why would He? Why would He tell us what we're waiting for? There wouldn't be any growth in that. Because I had to wait, because of the season of patience and trust, I resulted in actually having to put it to the test. I don't have a choice but to be patient in this. I can't, it's not like I can take my boot off and start walking again, start tumbling. It doesn't work that way. I have to be patient in this process, and I have to be patient in trusting God. He taught me that though He might limit me in physicality, He is not limitless. Our God is limitless. He can do anything with anyone. He can meet you anywhere you're at. In the last vlog, I talked to you guys about, I'd made a list of the pros and cons, the blessings that have come from this. And I am not kidding when I say the only con I have is missing season. And that there's a little bit of fear in the comeback, but I think that, that's natural. The pros of this have just been incredible. A test of trust, a test of patience. I've already talked about that. A stronger character, mentally, physically, spiritually, emotionally. I've had to be stronger for my team in an emotional aspect. I have to give them all of me. I don't have to say that little bit for my own physical part. I get to be fully emotional, and I'm an emotional person, so that works out for me. And it's cool that I get to be there for them in that aspect. It's also what has been, I think, one of the coolest things from this injury. It's made me love myself and for who I am, for how I was created. I think oftentimes as women, we get so caught up in looking a certain way and just wanting to be something we're not. And it's made me love my body for that. Seeing that I don't have a calf muscle makes me look at my other leg and be like, that's beautiful. That's me. I want that. I love that about myself. So that's been really cool. That body image is hard sometimes. And for me to want to look how I am is so just, it's cool. It's cool. It's also refueled my motivation in everything, in my spirituality. Oh my God, it's made me have to dig deeper into God. I haven't had a choice but to. But it's remotivated me for this comeback for gymnastics. It got to the point for me in college gymnastics where it was just like, okay, here we go. We're gonna train, we're gonna do this, we're gonna do this. And it's just, it kind of starts getting repetitive and you go through the motions. And not even in a bad way. I don't think I intentionally was, going through the motions, but it starts to stick with you. It starts to feel that way. It starts to feel like you're just doing it because you're here, because that's what you're supposed to do. Motivation has been refueled for this comeback, and now that I'm out of my sport, it makes me want to be back in it. So that's definitely been remotivation. 2017 also taught me I can't control anything. And with that, with the fact that I can't control anything, I'm also never going to get the answer that I want. And that should be enough for me. I have to put my trust in God, and by trusting him, he leads me down that right path. He leads me to the path that I would want to end up there anyway. You know, we humans, we oftentimes think that our way is the best way, and as a Christian, we have to realize it's not. And the path that God takes us down is not going to be what we think, and that's because God thinks on a completely different level. We cannot compare ourselves to him and what he has in store for us, but just know his plan far outweighs and you can't even comprehend what he has for you. I just want to brag on my God really quick. For so long, I scrambled trying to figure out what's next. It was very hard for me to just find myself present of where I was at and being in that moment and seizing the opportunities that are laid before me. So often I found myself thinking, okay, like what do I have tomorrow that I can prepare for today, and what can I do? Which is great. I think everyone, you should be prepared for what's in store, but you can't let that overtake your mindset. You have to be where you're at so you can experience where you are. He revealed to me by taking away my physical act of walking, he made me realize the only walking I needed to do was with him. That moment that clicked in my head, that God dropped that into my spirit, I was just done, tapping out. I'm done here. That's insane. And it's so true. I have such a hard time being still and being present and knowing he's God. Be still and know he is God. My walk with Christ, just even since my injury, has skyrocketed. It's crazy when you think you've grown to your maximum, God is just like, you thought that was good, and he's got something else. So you never stop growing, and I think that's what's so cool, and that's why it's so fun to chase Jesus and to seek him, because he's never done with you. He's never done, and he calls the shots. He calls when you're done. So to know that I will always continually be fulfilled and there's always something to learn is so special. And I know to me that means a lot, because I'm always trying to see what I can do to improve. So that's just kind of a little recap of what God has done for me and what he can do for you. And I just want to encourage you all to try to get there, to really surrender it all. What do you have to lose? Our God is so bold, and he's so true. He's so true. I really hope that speaks to someone out there. If you're in a situation where you're injured like I am, don't give up. Just know that this is his plan. This is exactly where you're supposed to be. Why would you want to do anything besides his plan? I'll end on this. Our God is not a God of suffering. Why would he put a trial in your life that wouldn't result in the greatness of God? So I hope that kind of hits home and makes you take a step back and look at what you're facing and just give it to him. Really lay it at the cross, because he gave his life so we could live for him.